John. Thank you. ASCAP, of course, is the songwriters organization, and we represent the finest of American composers, lyricists, and music publishers. In all genres of music, pop, rock, urban, rap, hip-hop, film, television. But here, our ongoing series at the Kennedy Center, we've been presenting some of the finest new talents working in the musical theater genre. And tonight is certainly no exception. I first met these two gentlemen several years ago when they participated in our ASCAP musical theater workshop in Los Angeles with their musical Witness Uganda. And to say that the reaction to their musical was tumultuous is to say the least. That musical went on to have its world premiere at the American Repertory Theater in Boston, and then more recently it was produced at the prestigious Second Stage Theater in New York City. Their next musical is called The Family Project. I think you'll hear a couple of songs from that tonight. Their shows are beginning to fill up with lots of awards: the Jonathan Larson Award, the Richard Rodgers Award. Please help me welcome two exciting gentlemen, two incredibly gifted talents, Matt Gould and Griffin Matthews.
Hi. Oh, wow. It's so nice to be here in DC. I think the last time I was at the Kennedy Center, I was like 14. There were not rainbows in the entrance. Like, the world changes. It's crazy to come here and see it. We have a new president.
He's a year in DC.
Hey.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Fans of the president out there.
Everyone applauded.
Okay,
No one
yeah.
applauded. Okay, great. So that's where we're at.
It's a musical theater show.
It's a musical theater show. But no, we're so happy to be here, and thank you guys so much for spending the evening with us. And thank you to everyone at home who's watching on YouTube. My parents, I think, are live streaming, if they can figure that out. So, hi, Mom. But my name is Griffin, and my story is very simple. I was invited to go to Uganda in the summer of 2005 to volunteer. Now, I'd never been to Uganda. I am not Ugandan. My grandmother is from Pittsburgh. But I was living in New York City at the time, and I had just graduated from drama school, and everyone runs to New York and starts chasing their dreams, and pretty quickly you discover that you gotta have something to say as an artist, and I didn't really have a voice yet, and so I thought it would be a good idea to go and volunteer for the summer. So I took my 6 weeks and I flew across the world. I was supposed to be volunteering at a local village orphanage for the 6 weeks. When I got there, pretty quickly into the journey, discovered that the Ugandan pastor who was running the orphanage was corrupt. He was embezzling money, and I had 6 weeks to go, and I could not call my parents and tell them what was going on. So I walked out of the compound, down the road, to try to clear my head, figure out what I was gonna do. And I got stopped by a group of teenagers who said, "Muzungu," which means white person. So I'd gone all the way across the world, and now I was a white person. But they stopped me, and they wanted to show me, where they were living and tell me their story. And so I went around with them, walked around the village, winding around all these buildings, and we finally landed in this shack. And we sat down on the floor, and we just started talking. And we talked about life and what it feels like to be an American, what it feels like to be Ugandan. And I discovered that, for those of you who don't know, Uganda suffered a massive HIV/AIDS epidemic. So there were old people and young people and nobody in between. So these kids were fending for themselves, and I asked them what I could do to help. And they said, "We want to go to school." They didn't ask for money, they didn't ask for food, they wanted to go to school because education was the way out. And of course, I didn't have any money to pay for them to all get back into school. So I had this idea, well, why don't I teach you? I didn't know what I was gonna teach them. We agreed to meet the following day in a village library. I was like, do you guys wanna, learn Shakespeare, Moliere, The Wiz, anybody? And they were like, who's The Wiz? So anyway, we met that day and we started talking and we did HIV education and then that day led to the next day, which led to the next day, which led to the next day. And after 6 weeks, we had formed this incredible friendship. And so I said, on my last day, I'm gonna go back to New York City. I'm gonna tell all my friends about you guys. I'm gonna tell them your story, and we're gonna get you guys back into school. So that's what we did. We went back to New York, raised all this money, got my friends together. We were throwing loft parties in the East Village that our parents would not be proud of. And we raised a ton of money, and I got on a plane Christmas Eve and surprised the kids Christmas morning and put them all back into school. And that was the start of Uganda Project, which is our nonprofit organization that sponsors the education of 10 students. So, thank you. So everything was going well, trucking through. Cut to 2008, the United States economy collapsed, and we were losing our donors. We were deeply, deeply in debt. We had kids starting university, and I was losing my mind. Enter Matt Gould.
So Griffin was freaking out, and I said to him, Griff, let's get out of town, clear your mind, go away to the woods. And so we went to the woods, and Griffin kept ranting and raving about how hard it is to try to help people. And unbeknownst to him, I'd hit record on my GarageBand, because of course I had my laptop in the woods. And I captured what would become the first interview in our documentary musical, Witness Uganda. And I said to him, Griff, you know, what has led you to this dark space? What got you here? And he said,
it starts because it's hard. So anytime something's hard, you're gonna question whether or not you're supposed to be doing it. If it was easy, I don't think that I would question, but more often than not, it's hard to raise money or to find a sponsor, to understand what's going on over there when I'm all the way over here. It makes things difficult. So there's times when I'm like, I don't know if this matters. I lay in my bed at night and think to myself, what if I never met them? What if I never got on that plane? How different would my life be? Like, sometimes I'm like, quit, give up. But once I knew their names, once I'd seen their faces, I could never forget. There's some passage in the Bible, it's about obeying, like you're supposed to do it because you're supposed to obey. You don't need to know why you're doing it, you just need to obey. So there's a part of me that does it because I feel like I'm obeying.
Hosanna, Hosanna, Amina, Hosanna, Hosanna, Amina, Hosanna, Hosanna, Amina, Hosanna, Hosanna, Amina.
When I started, I felt very clear that this was a story that I was supposed to share with people. And other people were supposed to share with people. And they were supposed to share with people about the simplicity of helping, because really it could be simple. I think that's like the big thing in life and in politics and whatnot. A lot of it's really simple. It's like the solutions are simple. It's like if everyone pulled their weight, if everyone did what they were supposed to do, we wouldn't have all these massive issues. So putting 10 kids through school shouldn't be a massive issue. But I think what happens is everybody doesn't actually want to take on that.
Jangu, jangu tata, jangu, jangu tata, jangu, jangu tata.
Hey, hey, hey.
Jangu, jangu tata, jangu, jangu tata, jangu, jangu tata.
Hey, 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 why?
Why?
Did I go?
Naro.
Close my eyes to the skies. Heavenly Father, please hear my cries. I want to know more, I want to see more. Open the door of my heart, let it pour. What's my place on this planet? How do I fit in and give me the strength to not afraid? If God says to go, then I don't have to know what's on the other side, because the other side just might make me alone. Just might make me alive, might make you alive, might make us alive. Oh, 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 oh. So that happened in the woods. But Matt caught that recording, and it gave some perspective, because I think we're in a generation of a lot of movers and shakers, right? We're seeing the world in real time. We're seeing everything happening. We want to be a part of something. We want to be a part of a movement. And so we started taking that song, and then we called up our kids and put them on speakerphone and started interviewing them and saying, well, what does it feel like to be a recipient of aid? Not just what does it feel like for us to be helping, but what does it feel like for you to get help? And do you like the help? Do you want the help? And so this next song came from a series of emails that went back and forth between my best friend Ryan, who was in our New York City apartment at the time that I was in Uganda, and I was telling her about my classes and all the craziness of Uganda and these kids. And so these are the emails exchanged that went back and forth between us.
So I'll be playing Ryan, and Ryan is a chubby white girl.
Theater, here we go. Put it all on the line.
Hey there, wanna make sure everything's alright. I know you're far from email access, haven't had a chance to write back yet, but I'm worried, been rereading that first email that you sent, and I'm worried, I am just worried. How's Jacob and Pastor Jim? Don't get involved, you've been counseling him how to break all the rules, put his life on a limb, take it easy. I don't care if you love an adventure.
Put it all on the line while you still have the time. You never know when the world's gonna change and leave you behind. Put it all on the line. It's just a matter of time before you're all alone, and the world isn't safe and free, and you're not who you wanna be. Na, 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 na.
Got your last email. I'm concerned about your class. I don't think you should be ranting. Race is very controversial. Griffith's dangerous, let's be honest. You stand out a little bit. You're not subtle, oh no, you are not subtle. This is not the time for idealism. I understand what you mean, but you're not in New York. You have to see things through a different lens. Take it easy, learn your place and just listen.
Put it all on the line,
Up on the line.
while you still have the time. You never know when the world's gonna change and leave you
Don't
behind.
leave me behind, don't leave me behind.
Put it all on the line. It's just a matter of time before you're all alone, and the world isn't safe and free, and you're not who you wanna be. Na, na, na. Put it all on the line, put it all on the line while you still have the time. Put it all on the line, 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 put it all on the.
So guess what? I joined Weight Watchers yesterday. Yes, for the third time. I was happy, and I thought this time I'll stay. And then I read your latest email, and it ruined my whole day. 'Cause you're quitting. Oh no, you can't be quitting. And I remembered how I told you to stay. And if you'd listened, you'd have lost out the chance to explore. And if you run, you'll never know what's in store. Take it easy. You are the only person in my life who's ever had the guts to do.
It's just me here, it's just me alone so far. Enough has
Woo! Kennedy Center, honey.
Okay, there's like 17 people in the cast, and there's 2 of us right now. And you realize how much you have to work when there's only 2.
Drum section, honey.
I know, where's the drums? Somebody.
So we had the opportunity to do this show for the first time a couple of years ago back at ART in Boston. And before we were, sometimes the thing about art is that sometimes you're ahead of the art. You think you're in control of it. And then sometimes the art is actually ahead of you. It's actually controlling you. That's the truth. Art actually controls you. It comes to you and you think, oh, I got this thing, and then it totally destroys your whole life. So when we were going to do this show at ART, we realized we had to go back to Uganda and tell our students there that, surprise, we're gay. Surprise. Hey, guys.
Rainbows.
Rainbows. The Kennedy Center.
Now it's making sense. Rainbows.
Yes, it was for us.
It was for me.
Because they didn't know that we were gay, and we knew they would read the reviews and find out. And at that time, Uganda had just passed the anti-homosexuality bill, which made homosexuality punishable by 14 years to life in prison in Uganda. And if you knew someone who was gay and didn't report them, you would be held to that same penalty. So we told our director at the time, we're going to go to Uganda this year on our annual trip, and we're going to tell the kids we're gay. And she said to us, you cannot do that. You cannot tell the kids that you're gay. Something could happen to you. Something could happen to them. It's totally not safe. And we figured she's right. So we went back to LA where we were living before our trip, and we decided we're not going to tell the kids. But a couple days before we leave for our annual trip, a knock at the door. A friend of ours who's a filmmaker comes and says to us, I'm shooting this music video for this artist called Ashanti. Do y'all know who Ashanti is? Yeah, DC folks.
The black lady, she was like, I know Ashanti. Everybody else was, okay, hold on, searching their brains.
So
she's an R&B singer, if you don't know who Ashanti is.
So he's shooting this music video for Ashanti. He says to us, will you guys appear as a gay couple in Ashanti's music video? I'm like, we're gay, of course we'll be in Ashanti's music video, right? So we shoot this music video for Ashanti, and actually a couple weeks later, then we fly off on our annual trip. We're not gonna tell the kids we're gay. Night number 1 in Uganda, one of the kids comes up to me, Matt, I saw you in the Ashanti video. I didn't know you practiced that lifestyle. I said, oh my God, like, we wanted to tell you, but we couldn't tell you, it was too dangerous. She says to me, no, me, I don't care, but do not tell any of the others. Okay, I won't tell any of the others. Night number 2 in Uganda, another kid comes up to me. Matt, I saw you in the Ashanti video. I didn't know you practiced that lifestyle. Oh my God, no, me, I don't care, but do not tell any of the others. Won't tell. You got it. Night number 3 in Uganda, another kid comes up to me. Matt, I say, what, did you see me in the Ashanti video? She says, no. But is Griffin your boyfriend? I said, yes, he's my boyfriend. She said, wow, what a catch. True story, he is a catch. He's a catch, look at him. We got married this summer, yes, after 9 years. But the lesson that story taught me was that, sometimes you hear on the news all the terrible things that are going on in the world. You hear on the news this awful country with all of this hatred. And there is some awfulness there, just like there's some awfulness here. But those kids taught me that politics is not the same thing as people. And when you know somebody for 9 years, it's impossible to hate them. It's impossible to hate somebody that you know. And I think even in these like crazy political times when there's everybody's screaming and nobody's listening, we have to remember like the people, it's about the people. And when we can like actually get to know somebody, the scary stuff becomes less scary. And one of our Ugandan students was actually at our wedding this summer. So there's a crazy thread for you.
We also learned that Ashanti had the #2 music video in all of Africa. So that lessons.
There is a long invisible thread that wraps around my heart and wraps around your head, tightens its grip when things go unsaid and I can't break free.
Let let him find his way home. Can't take all his pain on your shoulders, only weighs you all down when you're older. Let him run, let him fly. If you love him, don't cry tonight. Let him learn all he can, so when he comes home again, he'll be a better man.
There's a long, invisible thread that wraps around my heart and wraps around your head, tightens its grip when things go unsaid, and I can't break free.
Lord above, can you hear my prayers?
You hear my prayer?
Know the answer to make me aware of how to still love him and how to still care and how to stay strong when I wanna be over there. Do I run? Do I fly? How can I love him and keep my eyes dry? Do I learn all I can, so when I come home again, I'll be a better man.
There's a long, invisible thread that wraps around my heart and wraps around your head. It tightens its grip when things go unsaid, and I can't break free.
And I can't break free.
Invisible thread
And I
that wraps around my heart and wraps around your head.
I can't
Its grip when things go unsaid, and I can't break free. No, I can't break free. And I can't break free. No, I can't break free.
Thank you. So people find out that we, run this nonprofit in Uganda. We're going on what, year 12? Huh. Year 12, running a nonprofit in Uganda, same students, getting them through high school, college, and then into the workforce. And when people find out that we work in Uganda, they're like, oh my God, Uganda, I love Uganda. Are you building orphanages in Uganda? Hospitals in Uganda? I'm like, no, they have those buildings exist, but the thing about those buildings is that people can't afford to get into the buildings. All these buildings everywhere, no one can afford to get into them. So we don't have a building to show for the work that we're doing. We can't say, look at the building that we've resurrected in the village. We can't say that because that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to resurrect people.
We're
trying
to resurrect
people.
We're
trying
to resurrect
people. And that's a harder thing to prove than showing
Bricks. Bricks. Bricks.
We always in the West assume like aid can only be tied to dollars.
Bricks.
You have to be giving people money and they have to be building something, whatever they're doing
Bricks.
with money, and you have to be able to, count it and track it and 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 count it.
Hey, Chakuyamba Ozukuke. Chino, 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 chimanyi bachiri. Bloga ekole bumfufuyoka. Na ye omotu afanana katonda.
Make me in the image of God. Forgive me for all I am not. Hold not our sins against us, but hold us up against our sins.
1, 2, 3.
Resurrect, 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 resurrect people.
Chakuyamba Ozukuke.
Chino,
Chino, chino, chino, chimanyi bachiri. Bloga ekole bumfufuyoka. Na ye omotu
afanana katonda.
Lie, 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 lie. Raise me, God. Oh, oh, oh. Raise me, God. Oh, raise me, God. Oh, oh, oh. Raise me, God. Resurrect, 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 resurrect people. People. So that show happened in New York, off Broadway, and we are in conversations to continue that show in Los Angeles. So if you're in LA, if you're watching in LA, next fall it's coming. Witness Uganda. So I think we're gonna move into
Family, I have to take off my jacket for the Is it okay?
Take it off.
Sorry, guys. This is like, it's okay. The arms are like not at their best, but this is for all you people. Yep, there you go. Okay.
There it is.
Musical theater muscle. Here we go. So we started a couple years ago. We got commissioned to write this piece called The Family Project. And it all started when we took Griffin's then 80-year-old grandfather to Germany to visit the place where he had been stationed in the army at the end of World War II. Griff, talk about that.
The thing is that I grew up hearing that my grandfather was overseas when my mother was born, but I never put it together that he was in Germany, hadn't registered. And so for his 80th birthday, he announces that he wants to go back to this small town called Schwäbisch Gmünd and go and see his old barracks and walk the grounds again. So, we got on this plane, Matt and I, my grandfather, my mother, and we fly across the world to Germany, 80 years old. And the thing that this show tackles and the stories around this particular piece is that I feel like we're in a generation that wants everything fast. Everything is so fast now. We want to see our work and our lives move fast. And my grandfather went to Germany. He was 21 years old, and he joined the army because my grandmother was pregnant, and so he had to make money. And he went there to go help to liberate the Jews. He had never met a Jew. He was a southern guy from Atlanta, moved to Pittsburgh. And the thing that he didn't know at 21 years old was that his grandson was going to grow up to marry a Jew. Hey.
Shalom.
Shalom Aleichem.
Good. That's
hey,
good.
How'd I do?
You're almost Passover ready.
Close. But this show started to send Matt and I down a rabbit hole of what's the ripple effect? How can we recalibrate our minds so that we're not always looking for the immediate result and that we start to go like, I can live for something beyond myself.
So of course, when we're in Germany as a Jew, I was like, we have to go to a concentration camp. Because of my mother, before I went, she was like, why are you going to Germany? You don't need to go to Germany. Go to Switzerland. Don't go to Germany. My mother
Go to Israel.
Go to Israel.
Go to Israel.
What's
Go to
wrong
Broadway.
with you? So you were taught as...
She's here. She's like cowering in the corner.
I'm not going to point her out. She's here. You'll know her.
Know her.
She's beaming. There's a light in the middle of the room somewhere. I love you, Mom. So we're taught as young Jewish kids in Hebrew school, never forget this Holocaust story. And to the point where, for me, I was like, all right already, I will never forget. I get it. And so we went to this concentration camp in Germany, and we're standing there, Griffin and me and his mom and his grandfather, and it occurred to me, 60 years ago, we all would have been killed in this place. And now we're just standing here. Let me paint a picture for you. I am standing here in an open field. My boyfriend is here. He's checking the map now. His mother is here. She's reading a plaque now. His grandfather hobbles, been walking too long. Hey, Papa, you've got to sit down now.
Let me paint a picture for you. I am standing here in a haunted field. I know there are ghosts here. I've never felt ghosts so near. My grandfather wanted to come for his birthday, return to the place where he served. I've never felt so unnerved.
It's surreal to be here now. I can feel the ghosts of history now. Are they standing here in awe that a gay Jew came to a death camp with his gay black boyfriend and mother to celebrate the birth of my gay Christian black boyfriend's 80-year-old grandpa? Somehow the whole world turns around.
Love was lost, then love was found. Inconceivable, unbelievable. Somehow peace grew from resistance. Somehow the lives lived before closed the distance between us. Somehow we're on solid ground. How are we standing here right now? Somehow. Let me paint a picture for you. We've been a pair for coming on 6 years now.
It's sometimes been good for us.
But mostly it's arduous.
Maybe it's culture,
His background, upbringing, somehow we never agree. Can we ever be a family? I had never pictured my life in this way. Standing close, but I feel far away. Does he see? Does he know? Does he love me the way that I should? I stand by his side, make it right. Keep on running through life till we fly. Our lives collide. Will we crash in the end or find peace in our minds? Somehow time will show me if he's right. So we went down this hunt. We're a generation that's marrying outside of our races, religions, cultures. And I think the only way to figure out if we can actually make a marriage work, if we can actually combine all these families into America, the melting pot, you got to go back to the beginning, your childhood. I loved a man who seemed to do it all. By day he ran the bank in town. By night he coached baseball. He volunteered his hours while I was in right field picking flowers. My dad never minded at all. I think that he knew me. I think that he knew me long ago. And when you know, you either fight or let it go. He let it go. My dad let me dress up for Halloween. He marched me into my 3rd grade class, dressed as half witch, dressed as half queen. He painted me green. He painted my whole face green. He didn't care. I wore my mother's heels, her favorite pair. I think that he knew me. I think that he knew me long ago. And when you love your son, you fight him or let him grow. He let me grow. Time goes on, we grow up, and we live separate lives. And we lose touch, don't talk as much, my dad and I. Time goes on, we grow up, and we don't see eye to eye. And we lose touch, don't talk as much, my dad and I. So I graduated. I was about to move to New York to chase my dreams, and I went back home to see my parents. My brothers were there. I have 2 brothers, and my mom's best friend, who for years, best friends, who we called Auntie, she was there. And so I'm saying my goodbyes, and she's like, we should get together for family prayer. Black people like to pray before we leave places. So we were like, okay, let's pray. So we get into the big circle, and we're standing there, and we're praying in the living room, and prayer's going well. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the prayer, she looks at me, and she says, the lifestyle that you have chosen leads to hell. I didn't know what to say. I mean, I was standing there in the living room. My brother looked at me. I'm looking at him. I don't know. My mom looks at me. My other brother were looking around the circle, and my dad's head was bowed, did not look up. And so, for years, we never spoke about that moment, never. I got on a plane, flew to New York, started living my life. And then one Christmas, I went back home. I flew back home to Pittsburgh from New York. My dad came to pick me up from the airport. His eyes were filled with tears he'd been holding back for all those years. And he asked me if it was something he had done. Was I born this way? Had I ever been touched by anyone? Had they harmed his little boy? Did they rob me of my joy? And he asked me if it was something he had done. No, nobody hurt me in the night. Nobody forced me in that way. Nobody broke my spirit, Dad. No one made me gay. This is who I am. Yes, it was something that you did. You did it from the time I was a little kid. You loved me. You taught me. You let me pick the flowers in right field. You helped me, compelled me to find someone who respects my mother, find someone unlike any other, find a man who loves me just for me. I went and found someone like my dad who set me free. I want to be just like my dad. I want to be handsome and sweet. I'm gonna love on my son the way that my dad loved on me.
Parents and children. Parents and children. So speaking of parents and children, we're talking about children. And you know, the stuff that you say to your kids, Stephen Sondheim said it, careful the things you say. There you go. Somebody was like, girl, I know. Children will listen. And so I think this song is about how the things that we say resonate. In 1921, Henry Ford said, Jews are a threat to us. We must end their domination. 1931, Adolf Hitler said, Jews must be turned to dust. Henry Ford's my inspiration. Ford wasn't the one to pull the lever on the gas chamber, but his words echo like weeds they grew in the mind of the masses, inspired assassins. We say we never forget, then we forget, we forget, we forget. We say, well, he'll never win, he'll never win, he'll never win, he'll never win. But his words are out there, prepare, first words, then warfare. We say we'll never forget, then we forget, we forget, we forget. It's like an echo, 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 echo. In 2016, Donald Trump said, all of the brown people in our nation threaten our freedom. In 2017, who will stand up and say, Donald was right, build that wall, we don't need them. Trump won't be the one to pull the lever on the gas chamber, but his words echo, 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 like weeds they grow in the mind of the masses, inspire assassins. We say we never forget,
then we forget, we forget, we forget. We say, well, he'll never win, he'll never win, he'll never win, he'll never win. But his words are out there. Prepare, first words, then warfare. We say we never forget, then we forget, we forget, we forget. It's like an echo, 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 echo. Choose war or grace. Choose war or grace. Choose war or grace. Choose war or grace. We are one human race. Choose war or grace. We are one human race. Choose war or grace. We say we never forget. Ha! Then we forget. We forget. We forget. We say, well, he'll never win. He'll never win. No, he'll never win. He'll never win. No, but his words are out there. Prepare, first words, then warfare. We say we never forget. Then we forget. We forget. We forget. Oh, it's like an echo, echo, echo. Echo, echo, echo. Echo, echo, echo. Echo, echo, echo. We are an echo, echo, echo. Echo, echo, echo. Echo, echo, echo. What will be our echo, 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 echo? Thanks, y'all. So we're gonna go back to the start now.
We're gonna do one more. A lot of times, Matt and I like to obviously write in the documentary style, and stories are complicated, people are complicated, and this final song is actually from Witness Uganda, and it's about rising through all of the complications, through the politics and through the noise to rise. The words are, even though mother is dying, I will rise. Even though father has died, I will rise. I have hope, God tells me. I have hope, this I believe. I will rise, Njaku wangula, I will rise.
Wadenga mama yafa, Njaku wangula, Njaku wangula. Wadenga tata yafa, Njaku wangula, Njaku wangula. Ukama basubi, zikiliza, chakiliza. Ukama basubi, zikiliza, chakiliza, Njaku wangula.
500 die every morning, 500 die every day. By night 1,000 have left, 1,000 times I pray. They are my mother and father, they are my teachers and friends. How many lives must be lost until this madness ends?
I'm gonna learn to fly away.
Naro, naro,
You're gonna turn me in the
Naro,
sky.
naro.
I wanna live, I want to fly.
I will go.
Wadenga mama yafa, Njaku wangula, Njaku wangula. Wadenga tata yafa, Njaku wangula, Njaku wangula. Ukama basubi, zikiliza, chakiliza. Ukama basubi, zikiliza, chakiliza, Njaku wangula.
There is no mother and father, there is no what will I be, there is just when will disease take me and all my family. But I am strong in my purpose to find the birds of the sea, to fly to places where they are safe, where they are free.
Now I don't wanna lose my way,
Naro, naro,
but I wanna see the other
No.
side, and then I learn to fly back
No.
home.
Thank you.
Thank
all.
you so much. Thank you for spending the evening with us. Thank you for watching. Thank you all our old friends for coming. Thank you our parents for coming. So appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us at the Millennium stage. As we prepare for another performance, we ask